When I was little, my mom used to cross stitch, and she probably still does, but this is a great memory I have of her sitting in her recliner working on her cross stitch. And I can remember as I'm playing these games and playing with my toys down in the floor, I would look up and there I would see my mom sitting in her recliner working on cross stitch. Now, it was very difficult for me to understand what my mom was doing as she was cross stitching, because when I would look up and see her in the chair, from my point of view, all I can see is the back side of this cross stitch canvas. I don't know what it's called, whatever it is. I can just see the back of it. And if you've ever seen the back of a cross stitch, it's a jarbled mess. And that's all I would see as I was a kid. And so I would go back to my Legos and I would think, I don't know what my mom is doing up there, but she seems to enjoy it. And there would always come a time where she was done and she would turn the cross stitch. It was enclosed in a big hoop to keep it taut. And she would turn around, and when you would see the other side of it, that's the moment you would realize, wow, she had a big picture this whole time that I couldn't even grasp while looking at the back of this thing. There's a great promise in Scripture in the book of Romans where Paul writes that all things in our life, God can work for the good of those who love Him. And God is such an amazing cross-stitcher that He's even able to take things, the junk that we've added and the junk that the world has thrown in that in God's perfect canvas wouldn't be in there at all. But He's able to stitch all these things in such a way that if we will trust Him through, even though we're looking at only the back side of the canvas, at one point we're going to see things from His perspective, and He's going to turn our lives around and He say, look at the masterpiece that I was making of your life this whole time. Boy, if we could just trust in that. Even as I was sitting there as a kid and seeing things that I couldn't really comprehend or make sense of, but just to trust, you know what, I know what my mom is doing. And she's made beautiful works before, and I just can't wait to see what she has in store for me this time.